generators here.
Yeah, they're on the CIP plan, and yeah, they're coming out.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and they're in the, whatever color on our CIP plan denotes LoCIP funds.
Hey, Mark, on that note, were those, how come those, were they ever applied under that same grant that the emergency management had?
That came on a
Was that
millstone.
a-
No,
That was a
we
millstone.
have different grants because it's EOC and it's the millstone money, or it
Okay.
might be
Homeland Security.
Homeland
So these wouldn't have
Security
applied
money.
for those grants?
Yeah,
Okay.
those things are they're much different than than fire department.
Okay,
But sometimes we get grants for that.
yeah, okay.
Not in this case, other than the fact that this is LoCIP money. It's grant money.
It still is
coming
grant
from the
money, I
state.
agree.
It's-
Yep.
So it's still coming out of a grant funding. It's just different. Any further comment? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Ayes have it. Next on the list is special appropriation increase of 1516 for MRSA and the town aid road grants. During the budget process, we went the conservative route and did not increase the town aid road budget appropriations by the additional increases received during the 14-15 fiscal year. As the state completed its session, and we had a clearer picture, we need to take action to increase our adopted 15-16 budget by the final state grant numbers. So the adopted budget is funded for the amount of $162,169, and we're approved in the state budget for $318,395 plus an additional $22,442 of MRSA money. So we need to approve a special appropriation.
Okay, it's a little different. The appropriation here specifies the budget lines, but the one in the,
Use the,
okay, that's on the
Yes.
township. Okay, sounds good. Okay, that's fine.
yeah.
Okay, make the following motion. Resolve to approve and forward to the Board of Finance a special appropriation of up to $178,668 in the 2015-16 budget for the Town Aid Road Fund with $156,226 and MRSA for municipal projects to be used for roads, $22,442. These are additional amounts resulting from the adoption of the State of Connecticut budget, and a town meeting is required.
Second?
Yeah, it's been seconded. Any comment?
Yes. Given that there is a special session to come for a final adoption of a state budget, and it is possible these numbers may not be what they are now, what do we do going forward? Move money around? We really haven't seen the final Connecticut state budget, and one of the noises being made by the legislature is possibly looking at that municipal aid.
Well, at some point, we need to make decisions based on the budget they've presented thus far. And there may be changes, and if so, we would need to step back and make changes to our budget. I mean, who knows what could happen? They could scrape
Oh, I know, and I
$500
see,
million away from us,
if we're
so.
gonna do this, we have to do it now because our fiscal year begins on July
Yeah,
1st, and they
so-
won't be done yet. But my,
Just-
worst-case scenario, we cross that bridge when we come to it.
Well, in
Anna,
the-
would you agree with that? If there's changes in the special session, we would just have to come back in with a different appropriation and reduce it at that point. But in the same time, we're trying to conduct some prudent management, saying, our town moves on, we move on, and based on the budget being presented to us so far, and we're knock on wood, we're hoping this is what we'll get. Moving forward, we're just trying to.
Oh,
Keep our
I
projects
see
going. I
why
get it.
we
I
have to
get it.
do this from a technical point of view,
Roseanne
but
has a
just
comment.
raising the possibility that we may have to come back and revisit that depending what
Absolutely.
happens
You're
in
absolutely correct.
Hartford.
And every town in 169
Yeah,
towns
are
would have to
facing
do
the
the very
same
same
thing,
thing. Mrs. Harden?
We're just going to say that in the past, we have, if we felt that this was a problem, we have added on to the motion pursuant to receipt of funding.
Would you
In
have a
other
problem with
words-
that, Anna? Does that throw off?
In other words, if we don't get the funding, then we don't.
Because we don't spend it until we get it. It's not one of those things we spend it and then seek reimbursement, correct?
Okay, I'll amend the motion to after
Okay.
after it says the adoption of the Connecticut State budget and pursuant to receipt of said funds.
And who seconded that?
I did.
Okay, would you second that?
I would.
Amendment, okay.
When do we expect those funds to come in?
Could I recommend instead of just using pursuant to receipt?
Come on up so we can see you and hear you.
Yeah, I can understand the receipt means when the money's deposited.
Can it be pursuant to receipt and/or confirmation, final confirmation? Because receipt, that, timing issue relative to moving forward with utilization of the funds.
Okay, I'll, then again, amend it to, where it says
So moved.
resulting from pursuant to confirmation of said funds.
And Ms.
It's
Harding?
fine. It's fine.
Okay,
Good point, Anna, thank you.
okay. Does that cover, and you had a question that? we were trying
That
to
pretty
get
much answered it, so.
Okay.
I mean, that covers that, 'cause I was wondering if they
Okay.
come in really late. Yep.
Going down the line, anybody else have any comments, questions about this? It gets a little technical, it gets a little weird, and so does Hartford, it turns out, as we read. So, okay, I'll call the motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstain? Okay, ayes have it. We'll move on to the first year transfers within budgets. This is 2E on your agenda. I do believe. Various transfers with it, we're getting down the last couple of weeks. So various transfers within department budgets have been necessary for a variety of reasons. Attached to this is a documentation for transfers being made for a total of $10,669.55. Information presented includes from account number, the description of the budget line, and the amount and then the to account number, the place where the money's going, and the description of the budget line item amount. I'll keep you in mind that this is the only way we can move budget money around within departments or between interdepartmental. The Board of Ed, it was pointed out at a public delegation meeting or two ago that they incorrectly, it was pointed out that they do the same thing. They don't. They get a chunk of money and they just spend. They don't have this kind of appropriation issue and having to move money from departments and bringing it to the any commission. So just keeping that in mind. But so $10,669.55, and you have your detail.
Yeah, I'll make the following motion. Motion to ratify departmental transfers in the amount of $10,669.55 processed for fiscal year end June 30th, 2015, and to forward to the Board of Finance for approval.
Second.
And seconded. Comment? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstain? Authorize first selectman to sign the grant contract with the Connecticut DEP for the hole-in-the-wall parking lot detention basin upgrade project. I don't have any detail in my book on this, I don't believe. I don't. What's going on is we got a grant for an upgrade to the hole-in-the-wall. We have a rain garden there, or a lot detention basin, and our part of the grant is in-kind services. We're actually going to do the work. It's part of our Public Works crew and our Parks and Rec crew, whoever is going to do the work, but the state is paying for the material and any work that needs to be done.
Make the following motion. Be it resolved that it is in the best interest of the town of East Lyme to enter into contracts with the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection. In furtherance of this resolution, Mark C. Nickerson, the first selectman, is duly authorized to enter into and sign said contract on behalf of the town of East Lyme. Mark C. Nickerson currently holds the title of first selectman, and he has held that office since January 7th, 2015. The first selectman is further authorized to provide such additional information and execute such other documents as may be required by the local, state, or federal government in connection with said contracts, and to execute any amendments, rescissions, and revisions thereto.
I'll second it, but I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when that went in, and I'm trying to figure out what would be upgraded. That was a high-tech system with the water grit oil separators there, and the giant detention basins, which I remember was slightly maybe controversial because we were losing a lot of parking spots for it. So
Yeah, sure.
what is
I don't know
exactly
what's
entailed
going
here?
on.
And are we gonna
I
lose-
didn't have the town engineer come out tonight.
You don't anticipate we're going to lose parking spots?
No,
or
I mean, it's
anything
not going
for
to
this?
grow. I think it's a, an every 10-year kind of thing. It's supposed to be maintained.
Well, it was supposed to be maintained. It was also supposed to be maintained with one of the local colleges for doing the.
Anna would like to weigh
You
in.
have some information on it?
Okay,
Thank you.
because there was a time, if you remember, Three Rivers was supposed to take part. Did that ever happen?
I don't know.
Okay.
So this is an $1,811 grant. Sorry about that. And it's to get plantings to put throughout the different drainage type products that we have out at Hole in the Wall. The state had contacted our engineer and had some extra funding that they were looking to spend down, and offered us that $1,811.
Jesus.
It's already been awarded to the town. We've gone through the appropriations process, and now the state needs us to sign the contract so that we can actually spend the money. I mean, we should have had the contract a long time ago, but
And I think we already approved it at this
Exact-
level a long time
it-
ago,
yes,
actually.
yes.
So we're not actually trying to approve
Okay.
the grant tonight. We just, I gotta
State-
sign it, and I need
Okay.
your approval to sign it.
Okay.
the
Um,
state requires this specific language to authorize your.
The
your-
plantings are appropriate
Yes.
for these kind of things. It's not. I don't think it's a beautification thing. It's
Yeah,
much
we
as
had a
it's for erosion.
presentation, yeah, we did have
Yeah,
a
yeah.
presentation on this, because the plantings don't use less water,
Yes.
and all of the things that go along with what they had in those
Right.
different stations, and the grasses and all of that stuff, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that's why we didn't have Bill here tonight to talk about
Okay.
it. We actually had it already approved. Thanks for reminding me of that. So we have a motion. It's been seconded, I believe. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? And then this other one, which is to sign all grant applications, this is kind of a general resolution for me to sign on our behalf.
Yeah, this is done every year, I think. We have to
Correct.
authorize. So I'll make the following resolution. Resolve that Mark C. Nickerson, first selectman of the town of East Lyme, Connecticut, is hereby authorized and directed to sign all grant applications and execute and deliver any and all documents on behalf of the town of East Lyme for fiscal year 2015-16, and to do and perform all acts and things which he deems necessary or appropriate to carry out the terms of such documents, including but not limited to executing and delivering all applications contemplated by such documents.
Second.
Seconded. Any comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Ayes have it. There's no unfinished business or communications, so we'll go to ex officio reports. We start all the way down and just work all the way across. Mr. Salerno.
I don't think I reported. I went to the zoning commission meeting because Holly couldn't make it a couple weeks ago. So at that meeting, it was continuation of Oswegatchie Hills. They referred it to the Inland Wetlands Commission. So the Inland Wetlands Commission is now working on the Oswegatchie Hills. I went to Harbor Management yesterday. Just two things on that. There was the Harbor Commission received plans for replacement of the bridge over for Route 1 over Nyack River, and asking for comments. I don't know if anyone else in the town got that, or it just went to the Harbor Management Commission. Do you know, Mr. Nickerson?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, anyways, just so you know, the plans for the replacement of the bridge, which I guess is in a couple years, 2017 or something like that, it's been drawn up. So they're looking for feedback from the
Okay.
Harbor Management.
I have
plan.
not seen it.
Harbor Management. And also the Harbor Management plan has been updated, as I mentioned in the last meeting, and so is the potential ordinance changes. They're sending those out to certain town department heads to see if they have any comments on it, and it'll eventually get back to us for approval. And there was a Wetlands Commission meeting on Monday. I could not make it. It was scheduled on that Friday, and it was a show clause hearing for a wetland violation up in the north end of town. That's it.
Mrs. Hardy?
Okay. Attended the Commission on Aging meeting. They are in the process of planning various trips for the summer and into the fall. The trips vary from simple overnight trip to day trips, and then multi-day trips, and then I think that there's a big trip combined with 2 or 3 other local commissions for a European river trip. The attendance has improved at the meal site, which is good news. And that's it.
Okay. Mr. Siri?
Parks and Rec, a very nice thing is they were able to hand out 2 $1,500 scholarships to 2 students at the high school. Money was raised through Jeffrey's Run. The Borges family from Salem were present when they were handed out, so thanks to the family for making the funds available through the run they have every year. And then they also just briefly talked about and the fact that they're looking at, starting to do some research on putting a band shell at McCook's Point, which would really be a fantastic asset for there. But that's still in the very preliminary stages. That's it.
That'd be Mrs. Cheeseman?
Okay. Thanks to Mr. Salerno for attending zoning for me. In return, I attended the Inland Wetlands meeting of June 8th on his behalf. There was an application for a single-family dwelling and septic system at 21 Walnut Hill, which was approved, and then there was a presentation with regard to the cease and desist order for Center Plan and the solar farm. 2 soil scientists gave their reports. They had identical recommendations for the remediation to take place downstream. They felt it was, in light of the damage that had been done, there were really only 4 or 5 sites that needed minimal work that would be done, and it was they were told to go forward with that, to come back and report to the Inland Wetlands Agency as regards the progress on that. They hope to have commenced the work in August and be finished by September. And they took were informed that the Oswegatchie Hills had been forwarded to them for their consideration. And that is my report.
Mr. Wilson?
Board of Ed tomorrow evening. I'll be attending the graduation and a meeting of theirs end of the month.
Okay. You're all invited to the graduation ceremony, as you know. We march and we sit up front. Should you be able to come, please do. And if you need more details on time and all that, I'll get them to you after the meeting. Busy as always. We had a millstone drill. This happens twice a year or so, where all the emergency operations centers in the nearby area get together in Region 4, and we simulate a drill, something like a simulated emergency. And it's such an honor to watch these men and women in operation. We have fine people in our town, and other towns have them too, of people who are there, they're professional, they know what they need to do, and they get the job done. And I know it's just a simulation, it's just a drill, but I have every confidence in the world seeing firsthand that our first responders train and come up with scenarios, so the state does, and hands them down to us, that could be very real someday. And this is why we respond so well when it's hurricane time or blizzard time or just power outage for a week time. And our town rises up. We have all the players at the table, and we have a problem, we find the solutions to the problem, and we properly communicate it out to the public. And that's something we do very, very, very well, and it's great to see that in action. Middle school graduation, I mentioned earlier, is probably just getting out right about now. The 8th graders graduated today, and the high schoolers, the seniors, graduate tomorrow night, Thursday night. Went to a couple retirement ceremonies for the teachers. I handed out about 10 proclamations or so to some great teachers in our town, and then there was a real cool thing for Roy Shriver at the auditorium. He's a music teacher, and he's been a good friend to me over the years. And there was a lot of music performances and acting, and lots of people in our community came out to have a celebration of Roy's career. And then yesterday, Frida Janakis, we dedicated the Early Childhood Learning Lab, I believe. There was a dedication in Frida's honor for her years of service, and yes, she's retiring. And what a fine representation of the heart and the magic that happens in our school system. Frida's been around a whole long time, and she was well supported yesterday in that dedication ceremony. Such a pleasure to see, but bittersweet because we're losing some gems. Mrs. Fredrickson. Mrs. Jacobson retired out of Flanders, and my goodness, she's been there for a whole long time, and she's moving on, and Mrs. Smith as well taught my kids. So kudos to all our teachers every day. I was downtown on Flag Day. There were flags everywhere. Just what a proud town we live in. I was people were driving up and down the street with flags, and all the businesses had flags out. Flanders Road Bridge, it was announced that the Flanders Road Bridge, the exit 74 bridge, is made the governor's transportation, not only his bill and his plan, but the work is going to start soon on that. They've been moving down the highway. They're at Society Road right now. The exit 74 bridge will be next, and they're going to widen the deck on top. They're going to widen underneath. It's a major project, and that would include the on and off ramps. So more information coming on that. The temporary cell tower that was proposed. You read it in the paper. Really, really, really good news. I was really happy but proud that this happened because we worked hard on this. The temporary tower was going to be proposed, and then right behind it would have been the permanent tower, saying, well, we already cleared the trees and put up the building and put up the fence and put in the road. Let's put our permanent tower here. And this is what cell phone tower companies have been doing. We were able to get the temporary tower to not happen. We were able to extend the lease at the current location of the tower, so there's no emergency situation. And the same day that we got that great news, we got also an application handed to the First Selectmen's office and others that the permanent tower application is now in for the very same location. So the AT&T and the tower company that they use is looking to put a permanent tower on the top of Ancient Highway. There's some alternate sites. One's listed on Boston Post Road, right near the entrance of the orchards, and one is also being. I think there was a site walk, but I'm not sure it's official. So I'll hold that information for now. We were listed as one of the top 10 towns in Connecticut by one of those places that ranks towns, and we were right up there. And we already know that, but it's nice that other people know that too. The Health and Safety Committee offered a health and safety luncheon last week. It was well attended by our employees, and they were given examples and were well fed of healthy alternatives during their lunch hour. I attended the East Lyme Land Trust annual meeting. Art Horn, the old meteorologist, Dr. Art Horn. Horn gave a nice presentation after they did their business at the East Lyme Land Trust. And a whole lot of other things happened, but I won't bore you. But it's a busy time at the First Selectman's office. I'm busy out there, and I thank you all for your support and lending hands when you can.
Oh, one thing. We all should have, Rob, you, me, and we all should have thought of this. The baseball team. Congratulations to the East Lyme High School baseball team for making it to the state championship game and providing a fantastic game to watch. Would have liked the score to have been reversed a little bit, but congratulations to Jack Biggs and his entire team and all the parents that have supported the team and the students that were there. It was a great. There had to be 5,000 people up there that night for the game.
It was packed.
It was fantastic.
And, the interesting thing is that we played North Haven. North Haven's colors are maroon and white. So you really had to look closely on who's rooting for who, because the whole stadium was maroon and white. But we were well represented. Yes, a whole lot of people came out to see and our team did fantastic. They exceeded expectations, got to the final game and the final out, and you're right. It was a great baseball game to watch.
It was.
A nail biter for sure.
Yeah, I was able to go on Wednesday. I wasn't able to go Saturday evening. Wednesday's game was just as
Yeah.
to get there.
Yeah, just to get there.
to get there. It was
great.
huge, and give them all great credit.
Right.
It was really nice to see that we're on the map.
Yeah,
Hey,
great
hey,
group of young adults.
On the same subject, the Little Leaguers finished their season this past weekend. They're on to the All-Stars and all that. But congratulations to all the Little Leaguers out there keeping America's game alive and well.
Some of us
And
got
I
our
know-
nights back.
Mr. Salerno, Coach Salerno down at the end can start showing up to his meetings without missing games now.
Without having to get changed.
Anything else?
Yes. I understand that the General Assembly has passed the bill changing the formula for the distribution of personal property tax money. And I was wondering if you've gotten any information on that yet?
I don't have anything correlated yet, but I think this commission should have a presentation on that, especially the car tax issue.
Yes.
There's that, especially.
Personal property, yes.
Yep. So I'll have Anna prepare that, perhaps for the next meeting.
All
And it
right.
might have something, we might hold off and wait until the special assembly, is that what they call it?
Special
Special
session.
Session is called.
It's either
and-
the 28th and 29th or 29th and 30th.
Yeah, but
I
whatever
think-
information I can
I
get for you.
think we should have that presentation before that, in case we want to offer some testimony at the special session regarding that.
Okay.
So I don't.
If that comes up, and I don't know what they'll be talking about, but yeah. Okay.
We don't have another meeting.
Yeah, we have nothing going on until between now and
So
then.
July 1st is our next meeting? Town meeting.
No,
Yeah, but
it's
that-
town meeting.
yeah.
We can't do anything besides
July
that.
1st will be our next meeting. I can have an update then. And if there's anything that's coming up, and I get daily updates from CCM, I'd certainly forward that to your email. Would you be getting email during the summer?
Darlene has my personal
I have you
email.
personally, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll make sure that you get any of that, and we could carpool up if there's
Mm-hmm.
a session that's going to affect East Lyme. Absolutely.
Or if that wasn't possible, we could always fax the written statement.
Yep, absolutely.
Could we confirm the dates for our summer meetings?
July 1st? And then the first week in August, I'll be happy to pull
Okay.
a calendar.
Just so
up.
long as,
6th, maybe, August 6th?
I think
It sure would be, yeah.
I think
That
it's
was the
6th.
5th, but
Well, it's the 5th.
Fifth,
Fifth,
okay.
that
It's the
Wednesday.
5th.
Okay.
It was around.
And so it's just one meeting a month unless we
Mhm.
have to call a special session. Special meeting, I'm getting confused now. So, thank you. The next packets will not be prepared until the Monday morning of our Wednesday meeting. We can have them couriered to you, or you can come pick them up. We can at least electronically send you an agenda, so you'd have that, and then you'd be waiting on your packet. So we'll get them to you somehow. But Darlene will be back from vacation. I just want everything to be perfect when they go out. I don't trust myself sending them out and making sure everything is in the right order. That won't happen.
Okay, I have one other thing, and that
Yep.
is in response to tonight's request from Whitegate Farm.
Yep.
And I really believe that is within the domain of the zoning commission. They've discussed this issue several times. There have been several meetings devoted to this, and I think the suggestion that we consider this under the mass gathering ordinance, I don't think that's appropriate. That ordinance is really intended for one-time use, a special parade, something that's to be held on the town green. Any kind of demonstrations would require